Front tuck onto the beam.
Sasha Nenkaba on beam, 9.925 for the Soviets, and Hendrick of the United States, 9.937 on bars. So the Americans getting a couple of very good performances on the uneven bars. Hendrick and Woolsey. Boginskaya now on beam.
She was 5th on this event at the Olympic Games.
Not a bad evening for her either. 9.95 in vault. Perfect 10 on the uneven bars.
She is a good all-around gymnast. No weaknesses really in any event. But then most of the Soviets are like that.
$9.987 for Bontas and Florex, and the crowd thought she was probably worth a 10.
Boginskaya has such terrific long lines. She's actually 5'3" and 3/4, which in this competition she's a giant compared to many of the other gymnasts.
Oh! 2 back handsprings to a layout, step out, and a fall.
Brandy Johnson also just had a fall on uneven bars. And we will have a chance to look at that in a moment.
Major happenings here in this rotation.
Major happenings in this building.
Double back just now. That's a shame. She had a great competition going. Of course, in terms of the Soviet team, it's not as bad. They can drop that score.
Here's a look at Brandy Johnson. She did have a fall. She's having a tough meet here, at least in this portion of it.
And you've got to wonder what's happening with Brandy, whether it's the virus that really had an effect on her training. She had a terrific year. Maybe it was just too much packed into 1 year. She's been up since the Olympic Games in Seoul.
This has always been a very difficult combination here. Looked like she was right there, Kathy.
Exactly. She was trying to catch that, though, in a crossed grip. And she didn't have a good grasp of the bar. It's very disappointing. Like I said, she's had a tremendous year. She's done so much for USA Gymnastics. In international meets, she won 5 gold medals in the meet in East Germany.
Boginskaya on the beam, 9.475. And that is the lowest score that they have had on beam, so they likely will not even use it. It will depend on Alicia Dudnik. And Dudnik is on the bar now while we look at Brandy Johnson. Brandy trying to gather her thoughts right now. Meanwhile, on floor exercise, Daniela Silivash of Romania.
Very exciting gymnast. I enjoyed very much watching her at the Olympic Games. She was 2nd in the all-around there.
She won the gold on floor exercise.
As well as the gold on the uneven bars, the balance beam. She did a great job over there. Very nice gymnast.
And had a very good floor exercise here. She's having a very good competition here, as a matter of fact. Silivash, who did everything at the Olympic Games and has not really missed a beat here, as this, of course, the first major competition following the Olympic Games. She's already had a 10 on the bars and a 9.9 on beam.
Take a look. Their tumbling run, whip back. 2 back handsprings to a full in. Difficult pass. Many of the gymnasts are just doing the full in, but the tumble through to a full in.
10 was her score. I guess that's about as good as you can get.
Boy, this was a very significant rotation in terms of the all-around competition as well, because Boginskaya, who is the current European champion and favorite here, fell off the beam, while Silivash, who was due a world championship title in the all-around, knocking out 2 10s and a 9.9.
Brandy Johnson, incidentally, 9.362 with that fall on the uneven bars. Well, the story continues to be the dominance of the Soviet Union, but plenty of other competition still to come from here at the Hans Martin Schleyer Halle. Back with more after this. The Soviet Union in floor exercise.
The Soviets are always great on this event. They're so expressive, and I love the way they interpret the music. Full twisting double back. They really have a feel for the music. dramatic. Full and have to step out. You do a double full. It's a pretty pass. She finishes with a tuck double back. A little awkward on the landing. Pretty routine.
Svetlana Baitova of the Soviet Union.
And again, this is their start-off batter. Very capable of starting with a high score and, of course, building to none other than the 10.
We were kidding earlier that that's what Angela Lansbury looked like when she was Baitova's age. What do you think?
This is a nice pass. Full and a half to a step out due to a double twist. It's not the most difficult pass, but it's a nice combination.
And 9-8-3-7 for Baitova. So as you said, the leadoff hitter doing the job for the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, Li Yan of China on bars.
Interesting to note, the Chinese actually beat Romania on the balance beam. Nice work here. Good full caress, right into a reverse hecht. Again, those are ways to get the bonus points, combining the difficult skills, one right after the other. Circle giant. Tuck double flyway. Hop back. That will be the deduction in that routine.
The Yan of China.
The Chinese always look so pretty on the uneven bars because of their body line. It's so straight. Straight handstands. Good alignment. Just two giant full turns right into a reverse hecht. Combination of good difficulty.
The Yan score not yet announced. Meanwhile, the Romanians, who have done a brilliant job. You're looking at Eugenia Popa, waiting for her second vault. 9-8-5 on her first vault.
Now keep in mind, at the same time, the Americans are over on the balance beam.
This is Lacromora Philippe, and not Popa.
And she missed that vault, a handspring front. Fairly easy vault for the Romanians. I'm surprised.
That's right, Kathy. Most of the Romanians are using the laid-out Yurchenko full.
Leon, incidentally, who we saw on bars a minute ago, 9-8-7-5.
You're right, Bart. She does the handspring front tuck, which has now been upgraded so that it's worth a 9.9. But still, it's not as difficult as the other vaulters are doing at that level.
So she will have another 9-2-2-5 for Lacromia Philippe. Kim Kelly had a problem on beam, and here is what happened to her.
Layout, pass. It was completely off. She didn't even get her second foot on. It's really too bad.
She's cutting it. Philippe's second vault.
Handspring front with a half, a much better vault and a more difficult vault. That was a handspring front tuck with a half twist, so it's worth a 10.0 and will be judged from there.
Alicia Dudnik, who despite 3 10s in the competition, 1 in the compulsories and 2 in the optionals, still may not make the best 3 of the Soviets. That's how well they've been going in this competition.
She just opened with a piked, full twisting double back. And it does remind me of Olga Korbut back in 1972. She ended up winning 2 events there, but didn't make the all-around finals. But became famous nonetheless.
She had a 10 in this discipline in the
It's a
compulsory.
nice pass. 2.5 twist, punch front.
They all have that sense of ballet, too, don't they?
Very much so. This is why Soviets have always been my favorite team, or at least one of my favorites.
Next to the Americans, yeah.
Of course.
She really is a treat to watch. The presentation is so dramatic and so elegant.
What's good about this team is they leave no stones unturned. They work on everything. Good body movement. They get their entire body into the floor routine, into the music. They're very expressive. Tuck double back. Very dramatic routine. Beautiful.
Just terrific. Alicia Dudnik of the Soviet Union.
Now, she scored a 10 in the compulsory competition. If she scores a 10 on this, this will be the first 20 compulsory and optional together in the competition thus far. I think Nadia Comaneci was the first gymnast to score a 20 in the 76 Olympics for her uneven bars.
Did either of you see that she missed anything in this routine?
You can always pick a routine to pieces, particularly here in slow motion.
Yeah, you can
see
find little
slight
form
legs
breaks
apart.
here and
These are hard to see in regular time. And also, what's really important, the judges now can take, at least in the women's side, can take a 0.5 tenth of a point deduction. Whereas before, they either had to decide whether to take a full tenth, or if they didn't think it was big enough, they wouldn't take any.
9.95 is her score, so they did see a couple of little flaws and did deduct that, but not too bad. Still plenty more to come from the World Championships here in Stuttgart. We'll have more right after this. Floor exercise, Lashenova, who at the risk of being redundant has also had a brilliant evening here with a 10 in the vault, a 9.95 on bars, and a 9.962 on beam.
Now this is detail. Watch her facial expression. Double layout, back handspring, straddle jump, punch front. Tumbles back the other way, through to a double back. That's more difficulty in her first pass than most people have in their entire routine. If I were her, I'd stop right there.
And just take your 10, go home, right?
This really is amazing. But what's so nice, on top of all the difficulty, the toe point, the execution, the perfect form. Whip back through to a double back. She's now done the equivalent of 2 routines. We'll see what she has in store for the last tumbling run. A double back. And another perfect landing. Beautiful. Now this is where you'll see a 10. I can almost guarantee it, because the one preceding her is a 9.95. Where do you go? I'd give her a 10.5.
I'll tell you, they're applauding it on press row here. Paul Zert, man who's seen it all, Edney Bart, next to me applauding.
It was a terrific exercise. It's interesting to note, though, she cowboys her double backs really wide. Now, the judges have the option of taking that deduction. It's an accepted technique, but it certainly isn't that pretty.
I agree with you, Bart.
Meanwhile, Silivash on the vault, and we've been talking about all the people who've been having great meets here. Silivash is having a great meet also.
She does a Yurchenko full twist. Now, a lot of people get higher than this on this ball, but she gets quite a bit of distance.
We're going to go back to Svetlana Bugunskaya.